All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Top Deck Games. We are here. I'm TD Erickson, and I will be joined by our co-hosts today. That being said, let me do a formal introduction. I'm TD Erickson again, and I'm joined by my co-host, which is TD Slicedbread.
Hello, everyone. Ugins
Hello,
all
everybody.
day.
Hello,
Hello,
hello.
everyone. Good afternoon. This is Carlo G in the place to be. Another episode of TD Talks. Hello, TD Erickson. Good afternoon there.
Hello, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. So,
Yep, yep.
before we start, I want to do a quick shout out to everyone. Welcome to TD Talks. We'll be doing this on a weekly basis, and I want to do a quick, what do you call this, formal reintroduction of our co-host, our third co-host, all the way from Singapore. Let me just try to do this and do it right, okay? Okay, let me
Cool.
stop the music and then so that we have a former, introduction. All right.
Cool.
Three, two, one. From the city of golden friendship.
All right. The reverb. Woo! Background. Woo! Continue with yours. Oh, I'll continue that.
That's pala na intro nito.
Where is he? Sorry, where is he? There he
Yeah.
is. Let's go! We tried. We tried. We should have choreographed that. We'll choreograph that next time. We tried.
Welcome to the stream, TD Bappo, aka TD Bap Pro.
Po.
Thank
Pro
you guys. Thank you for the
Pro.
introduction. What up, guys? Tito Babo here, back at Top Tech Games for another stream of TD Talks.
Yeah.
Back all the way from Singapore.
I want to do a quick shout out to everyone who's joining us on stream. We have Mon Villarta. And I think that's it. Mona joining us on stream. We are a bit earlier today. Usually we do the stream by around 6 or 7. We'll try to do that going forward next time.
Cool.
That being said, today our topic would be what happened during last week. Definitely, it's not just an MTG fiesta. There's a couple of other items that also happened, like One Piece and the group. However, let's just address the elephant in the room.
The
We have
elephant.
now
You're
an
an elephant.
official. DD Bap Pro is now an elephant in the room.
Yeah. Kaka.
Elephant turned vulture.
Anyway.
All right. So for those of you who are not aware and initiated, last weekend, November 3 to 6, there was a MTG SAIA, which is Southeast Asia Championships. And then cycle 2, if I'm not mistaken, the format is Pioneer. And whoever top fours or hits top 4 has an automatic Pro Tour invite to the following Pro Tour event, which would be held at around February, give or take, Chicago, US. And then that being said, we do have TD Bapo, who is with us today, that has qualified. Congratulations, Mr. TD
Yeah.
Bapo.
Thank you, guys. Thank
All
you.
right.
On top of that, we also have a couple of other announcements to make. Shout out to Craig as well, who will be joining us later, hopefully on the chat as well. That being said, though, I want to pass the microphone to TD Papo and ask you a couple of questions, TD Papo. And for those who are not aware, and then if you want to throw us some questions, please do go to chat and do some questions. First and foremost, TD Papo, how does it feel right now to win the Miss Universe?
Miss Universe.
Wait, what?
MTG Asia. How does it feel to qualify and attach the prefix Pro to one of the tournaments?
It feels amazing. To be quite honest, it actually hasn't sinked in, even after I came back from Singapore. But now that I think about it, like it's been crazy for the past week, knowing that I'm able to compete with the best of the best players around. It's been one of my goals ever since I started playing Magic. And then looking at the pros that you see and hear throughout the history of Magic, like in the Pro Tour and the World Championships, like it's always been on my mind thinking that I'd be able to stand side by side with those guys, and
Yeah.
never did I imagine doing it next year. So, uh, I've been playing Magic for like almost 5 years, and it's
2019 ka lang start.
yeah, yeah, well, almost 5 years. So it's been daunting to think of like just playing with the best players, but somehow managed to pull through last weekend, making a top four
Mm.
finish at the C Championship Finals Cycle 2. The deck that I ran was Mono White Aggro. It was the deck that me and my teammates have been playing for the past couple of months, because we saw how not only is the deck resilient to the meta, it is also adaptable, and at the same time, it is very easy to pass on to our new competitors, especially Bosoy and Dave. Shoutouts to those guys. They've been quite a huge help with the team in preparing for this event. Even though Bosoy had a very mediocre performance, he helped a lot during the regional championship qualifiers back in Cebu, because he qualified over there with the deck.
Yeah.
So it was more of like just shaping out the game plan that the team and I have been like trying to perfect going into this tournament. So, and yeah, with my results, it basically means that it paid off a lot. It
Talk
paid off
us
a
through
lot.
that preparation phase, TD. Uh, what did it take? Whose brainchild was it? Who's running basically? How did it come about? I know that you mentioned a while ago that the team decided that white was one of the if not the one of the best decks to be to bring to the format. Run us through how it came to be.
All right, so it started off back at May 2023 when
Oh, May.
we we went to the Davao Regional Championship qualifiers with the whole gang, like what the whole barangay, the kids, and Miki and Doc Pao and I went there to play. We had a very amazing results, and then that got us thinking. Doc Paulo and I. So shout out to Paulo as well, who made a huge contribution to this win. Wouldn't have done it without him as well. So Doc
Mhm.
Paulo and I back then were talking about bringing a team, an actual team of players who would have the same mind and the same goal is to win, to get results. So with that, the first shell was to bring the kids to a tournament that they're not familiar. A tournament that it's not in their home court. It's not top deck. It's a bunch
Mhm.
of new faces. So the competition gets high. The stakes are quite higher, and uh, that was the first step into our plan. The second one was to find the deck that increases our win percentage by like 100, 1,000 folds. So when Doc Pao got the first invite, he did it on the first day, and he did it in a very convincing fashion, like undefeated in the Swiss, and then going into the top eight very confidently, not just in by results, but by performance as well. Because we looked at how he won those matches in the quarters and the semifinals, going into that top two invite. So when we studied the deck that he brought, which was the mono white aggro, we realized that this deck was so good that anyone can play it and win. Like the shell itself is so potent. Like you cannot miss this once in a while opportunity where you can actually play a deck that can win you big tournaments. So the reason why Doc Paulo picked this out of all the other decks that you could think of is one, it's an aggro deck, which means the games are going to be very fast, especially in your favor because why else would you play this deck? Second is the shell itself, the main core of the deck is already solid. Like just from
Mm.
the top two rows that you're seeing on the screen right now is already good. Um, I'll bet the brave the elements because that's the latest addition to our list because the first core of the deck doesn't have brave because it's super bad against some matchups where we actually want to leverage in trying to win those matchups because they're technically bad. So for example, Rakdos Sacrifice has been the bane of the deck's existence ever since the meta shaped up a couple of years ago, and then brave, if you top deck it, it doesn't do anything unless you're super ahead in the board. Then by all means, go ahead and kill your opponent. But if you're behind, you don't have creatures on the board, your opponent is trying to like super ahead, and you're top decking a brave, that's super bad. So that's why we took it off in the first place. But as the meta shaped throughout the past couple of months, we realized that brave was actually a necessity for the list because we realized that going into the tournament, the C Championship Finals is an open deck list. That changes everything. So if they know that we have Brave the Elements, that means that we're basically telling our opponents firsthand in the game that if they're not careful, we can actually just sweep the whole game in one fell swoop with that one card. So they have to play around that card as well, keeping that in mind. As long as they have that information, which is a big deal because then we don't have to rely on you know uh, playing around that information because we know that
Mm.
our version of the deck is like quite fast. We have two copies of Kithion, as well as two copies of Knight Errant of Eos, which means aside from the bodyguards, the officers, um, we have more threat density on the board rather than your typical mono white aggro. So,
Mm.
and the fact that the deck is super straightforward means that when we bring someone into the team to help get that goal, it's super easy for him to adjust and learn the deck. Like it's so simple. We just tell him like, "Hey, you wanna win? You gotta play this deck." Okay, so all we have to do is then just teach him or her the ins and outs of what matchups to look out for. So, for example, Rakdos Sacrifice. So the trick about that matchup is that when he gets the cat oven into the devil, like it's game
Mm.
over. So you go to game two. But the big difference with our list is that we have Knight Errant of Eos, which
Okay.
means when we get to our power play on turn three, you go one drop turn one, and then turn two, either two drop or two one drops, and then turn three go Eos. Then that means the tempo is now on your side because you just put like a massive 4/4 creature, and then you draw two cards, two creatures that you can play next turn. So can you imagine if you're Mayhem Devil, like if you're the Rakdos Sacrifice player, like you have to deal with that stuff. Like you can easily kill two creatures, but then he still has like backup as well as the Aeos, like a 4/4. That's not very easy to deal with, and it's 5 mana, which means he can't even fatal push it. So that's like the big difference going into that matchup. So basically, our list helps alleviate some of the bad matchups going into game one, and then making game two an easier match to close. So we've tested it so many times. Like we can't fathom how crazy our list could actually just steal games out of nowhere. Even the Greasefang matchup, like there was a point where we just took out the Rest in Peace because it's one of the best cards against Greasefang, but we
Mm.
realized that it's either going to be like two things are going to happen in the matchup, even in post board. One, you're not going to cast Rest in Peace because it's either he already has the combo and he kills you, or you have a big board and you kill him. So it goes either way. It's a 50-50 match where you are either player is so ahead, like it doesn't matter. So the card itself, like you don't need it. Although if you do cast it on turn two, like then of course the Greasefang player is gonna have to deal with it. But there are times where the card, especially in multiple copies, where the card just doesn't do anything. You put a Rest in Peace, and then turn three, you don't have your Adeline, you don't have your best threats in the deck, and then you're just super behind because your opponent is like, okay, well at least I'm not dead. Next turn I'm just gonna slam my Asika's Chariot. So, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna die because I don't have
I
anything.
see.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah, suffice to say, if I were to summarize some of the points that you made mention a while ago, TD Babs, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? Number one,
mhm,
the deck list that you guys are running off right now is somehow affected between whether or not we're playing an open deck list or a not open deck list. That's where the
yes,
Brave the Elements components comes into play.
that's correct.
Point number two, uh, the addition of the cards there are specifically there for specific matchups. Am I correct to understand? Like the Ranger Captain of Eos would be there to uh, basically hamper some of the advantage that the Rakdos sacrifice has against the deck.
Yep.
Then point number three that you made mention a while ago is that on matchups that we feel that is toss coin 50-50, there is no point in putting one or two sideboard cards into the sideboard because it's going to be a 50-50 anyway.
Yeah,
With a
it's a
slight,
race.
yeah, I got you, I
It,
got you, I
it, it
got
just
you.
it all depends on the draws between you and your opponent. So, yo, Vaughn, thank you so much. Thanks, brother. And um, it's just that when we tested all the decks against this deck, most of the bad matchup, uh, especially with Greasefang, ends up with like whoever goes first, whoever gets to kill the other guy first. So, um, yes, there are some cards that can help alleviate the matchup. Like for example, Destroy Evil can handle a Parhelion on a turn, so that gives you a window to actually put your opponent on a very low health. Declaration in Stone is a very interesting addition that we had. It wasn't there, even though some players tend to add like one or two copies in the sideboard. That card uh, has some uses in those matchups. Normally, we would put them uh, against Gruul, the big creatures, or
Mm.
sometimes Boros Convoke because they have so many tokens. So you just have to deal with them. That's the only thing you have to worry when you're mono aggro. If your opponent has ways to deal with your creatures, either by killing them or by stalling them with more creatures. Uh, but in Declaration in Stone, sometimes it becomes a card where it paves you the way to get you to your victory. So, for example, Greasefang goes in for the combo,
Mm.
13 damage upstairs with Parhelion and Angels, and then he passes the turn. You're not dead yet, but you have a window to kill your opponent, and that window is by dealing those two Angels, and one of them is going to be Declaration in Stone. So those are those scenarios where they actually matter. So that's why we have one of those copies in the deck. Sometimes we even put Portable Hole. Like it's just this weird scenarios that I would say I would give credit to Craig because this guy like is a thinking machine. Like he puts out all the crazy things that could happen in a match, and then he'll just brainstorm it and then throw it at us like, dude, what about this card? Like, you think this card's good? Like, can you imagine mono white aggro running Aether, what was it, Aether Spear Harvester? You know that card, that 3-drop
Yeah. Yeah, three
Yeah,
drop.
3/5
Three drop
flying,
vehicle. Yeah,
flying
that
lifelink.
vehicle that gives you lifelink. Like,
Yeah.
why would you put that in the first place? But then if you put that into practice, it solves your Rakdos matchup, both mid range and sacrifice. It also deals with the angels. You can actually block the angels and survive with that card. It's crazy. Like the guy is a genius. Let me tell you that. So
Uh,
um, and then that
Definitely,
and then
definitely.
that's how we ended up with that list. Like it's the plethora of all our ideas going in together as we kept testing the deck because we're already confident that the deck was super potent. Dava RCQ, we Doc Pao conquered it, and then Cebu RCQ, we put the team deck to the test because we've been talking about it for quite a while, where all these pro players trying to break the format with that one deck that everyone thinks is the best. So we tried it. It works. Busoy got the invite. Doc Pao basically top eight again, and
With the
it became
Riders
it
Pro
even
hands.
yeah it became a casualty where on the second day some of the Cebu players shifted to mono white aggro, and then they got the top eight invite.
They
Shout
got
out
the
to
top eight.
Denzel,
Yeah.
yeah, for qualifying. So it's crazy, right? Like it's actually good. Like on a small scale tournament, but still at a high competition type of level, you can still have these kinds of results. So now we had to do was just like refine the deck itself. Like what other matchups are we still thinking about going into the C Championship finals, where Wilds of Eldraine just came in, and some of the decks rose up. So the meta has shifted with Phoenix on the rise, which we saw. I think it was like the second or third most represented deck, and but it didn't show up in the top eight. So so we put in mind Boros Convoke was also on the rise. So we just had to do our homework, and which we did because let me tell you a story. The night before the first day of the championship series, uh, Craig wanted to solve the Boros Convoke matchup because he was scared. He was literally terrified of the matchup. So, and then Doc Bao and I were like, no, it really wasn't. And then we proved it to him. It's like we play tested. We checked for certain scenarios on what are the windows that the deck or the Boros Convoke deck would have to get the win against Mono White. So the biggest threat for Boros Convoke is always the speed, because compared to Mono White, Convoke always gets that nut draw on turn two where you just Convoke with Venerated Loxodon and then just have a lot of power, 14 power on turn two, and just kill your opponent with the new card, Immodane, the veteran Immodane.
The
Uh,
veteran Imodin.
it's the new Bushwhacker, but you just cast
Yeah.
it himself. So
Yep.
it's nuts.
Yep.
So
Gives.
how
Yep.
how we solved it is very quite simple. You just put a bunch of blockers, like a big blockers.
Big
So
wall of blockers.
the MVP that we discovered that night was Hopeful Initiate, and that proved to be a huge difference because normally if they don't have the Convoke spell on turn two or the Nut Draw, they would just like get in for some damage, like Boulder and Epicure. And normally if you play a turn one creature on your turn, on the first turn, it usually has one toughness. Dauntless Bodyguard or Kithion or the recruitment
Recruitment.
officer.
Yep.
So it's kind of awkward, right? To block, you don't want to block, but that one damage would usually matter later in the game, especially with the speed of Convoke. But when hard, I just find it so hilarious when we discovered how powerful the hopeful initiate was. But having that two toughness really mattered because then, like, they can attack. They just pass the turn or sometimes like flash in their two drop with the token. So it actually mattered. And then you just snowball from there, just playing creature after creature. Especially if you get Adeline very early in the game, like they can't do anything because the advantage is if you put a blockade, like a wall in front of them, and then you just ossification their convoke creature, then game's over. They can't do anything. They can't catch up. So it's a
I
very
see.
it was a very interesting experience to have with the team, like being able to solve that, or at least convince Craig that the matchup is solved. And then going into the tournament, we both Craig and I got the round one convoke matchup, and we just destroyed them. So, but shout
Got you.
outs to our competitors. They actually played it well. Because I remember in my second game, he boarded in a bunnycorn, the regal bunnycorn. It was the latest addition to
Mm.
the deck. He had it in the sideboard. He put it in turn two, slammed it. Turn three, attack for six. Turn four, attack for six. And I'm like, yeah, I can't block
I thought
this.
that was like main. I thought that was they're playing that main. But before we
No, that
proceed on the
yeah.
actual deck decks, TD Baps, let's do a bit of a questions. Some people were asking some questions around the chat. Our longtime followers here and watchers. Sherwin
Hmm.
is just asking just a question, guys, and don't be offended. Of course, we don't get easily offended here, Sherwin. Feel free to drop those questions. When you guys are going to a tournament, the real goal is to win the tournament or to have fun. For me, winning is just a plus. So
Well,
uh, these also, as
Probably.
some players are often worried about the puhunan issue and they get too serious about it. So what are your thoughts about around that?
I think it's a case by case scenario where it depends on the player, because sometimes some players are just really competitive. It's in their blood to compete
Mm,
and win. So it's a no-brainer for them to actually try to win the event and
mm,
get some of the money back, or if not earn from it.
mm.
But of course, in the spirit of the game and the Magic community, of course, you have to keep in mind that you want to have fun. You have to enjoy the things, the little things, especially what I mentioned earlier when how we were able to convince Craig with the Boris Convoke matchup. It was very interesting because uh, during the whole playtesting, Doc Paulo and I were just laughing our asses off as to how how easy the matchup was. But it was also a learning experience for Craig, because then he without that information and that playtesting, he wasn't able to figure out the matchup, and then that would throw him off. So it was more of us like keeping our teammates in check, like looking out for each other, because that becomes part of
that's
the
what
fun.
matters. Yep,
Yeah.
that's what
I,
So
matters.
then he gets to enjoy the tournament because he doesn't have to worry about it, diba? And that's what happened.
I see.
Results come in. So I would prioritize the fun part, but I would keep in check uh, the winning part, because like nobody goes into the tournament not thinking about winning, because
Not thinking about winning. Yeah.
otherwise then they I
Why
guess
are
they have
you
the
there in the first
I wouldn't
place?
judge,
Diba?
but they would at least they have the luxury to like throw money in and just play some games. But
I, I
there is
think
not like especially at a high level competition, there is not a single
yeah,
player that goes into the tournament without thinking of winning. Like they want to win. They
definitely.
want to they want to
Definitely.
be called like the professional Magic player. They want to be the best of the best. They want to show that I can beat this guy.
Mm.
I can beat these guys that are trying to like say the same thing. So it's just more of an internal question, but it also varies between by person to person. So you gotta really know the guy before like really answering that question itself. So for example,
So if I
me,
were to
yeah,
rephrase what I gathered a while ago and maybe to put in some insights on my end as well, are we saying that the main goal, the objective is to actually win, but in the process of trying to win, that's where you get fun. Is that fair
yes,
to say?
yes, yes. There you
Mm,
go. Yeah, that was
yeah,
right. That was right,
yeah.
Erickson. Yeah.
So in terms of like going into the tournament, would you say that this is also partly a team competition and not just an individual competition on how
True.
shout out to
We
Doc
have
Pao.
the best
Yes.
way of putting
What up,
everything.
Doc?
Winning is fun. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's Doc Paulo's version of having fun is by winning. he enjoys it. That's why when after day one, he was a little bit disgruntled by how he wasn't able to get his own results. But in the
Mm.
process of um, getting into uh, that win, trying to get that win, like I got the result instead. But it gives him that feeling that as a teammate, it was all worth it. He had a lot of fun. He had a lot of experience gained, as well as memories that a lot of people don't usually make, especially at this
Agree.
type of
Agree.
competition. So it all depends on how you see it, but it also depends on the person who is behind those cards trying to get that win.
Formative
Yeah.
years on my end, and maybe TD slices breads, and going to tournaments by team is always fun. Am I
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Or
definitely.
what's
Because
your
let me
what's
tell you, last year sucked. I,
Yeah.
I I qualified. I qualified the regional championships
In
last year.
Manila, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, from Manila, and then I got into
Mhm.
Singapore. Ericsson was with me though, which made things better. But overall, the tournament sucked. Like I got
Mhm.
destroyed. I wasn't prepared. I mean, I just played the deck that I felt like I wanted to play, but I still didn't feel the format back then. I wasn't super confident.
What's the
Modern, on the other
difference
hand,
between then and now? How vastly the difference is on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being highest, 1 being low. How different
uh,
is it right now being it with a team?
the biggest difference is friendship. Friendship always wins.
The
Friendship.
power of friendship.
The
The
power of
power of
friendship.
friendship.
Yeah,
Okay,
especially.
TD Baps, if that's the case, right? We are talking about fun and excitement in the team. I'm going to transition into a segment called Explain That Photo. Okay? So I have a
Okay.
bunch of photos here, and you tell me what's happening. Okay? Does that sound
All right.
fun?
All right.
All right,
All right. All
okay.
right.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
If my
TD Slice
memory
Bread, please feel
can help
free
me out.
to opine on some of these points. Okay?
All right.
Hmm. First photo.
What is this? All right. So this was us, Team Top Deck and Magus. Shout outs to Magus Cebu as well. They have some of the best players as well in the country, in the business. So the true shout outs to Vaughn. The true prize were the friends we made along the way.
Kins,
Yes.
they're so savage. Okay, go on.
Oh no. What up, kids? Shout out to you. So yeah, this photo was. I think this was us boarding in on our flight on the way to Singapore. So there's Barney in the corner. It was like, and Monty as well as Mary, and then right at the back is Craig, JP, Doc Paulo, and Denzel. So so basically, in this picture, Craig and I have not qualified for the regional championships. We had to go through the
Oh,
last chance qualifiers. So
fire.
everyone else was qualified. So can you imagine the pressure that I don't know with Craig, but the pressure that I had to endure throughout the trip, thinking like, damn, these guys like they made it, but I haven't. So
Let's
and
go to the
especially
next one if that's the case. Okay, how do we push to the right? Hmm, okay.
oh, see a bunch of
Oh,
pictures.
saw a bunch of pictures. How about this one? Let's do this.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so I'm much of a like social media kind of guy, but not in a sense of like you see me on my feed. My feed is like sometimes a little bit boring. Sometimes it's top deck magic, uh, and then a bunch of music. But I'm very active when it comes to updating my days or Instagram stories or even group chats. So I would always keep them in check. So I have no idea what Craig was thinking back then. Maybe he was
Maybe
contemplating on like how to qualify for
no,
the
no.
last
I was
chance.
thinking about the matchup for what do you call this?
Convoke.
Convoke tech.
He was really worried about that. And then he told us like the night before. That's probably it. Hello, thank you, John. Thank you so much for
All right.
the greetings.
This one. How was
All
this?
right, so we finally landed at the Changi Airport in Singapore, and the first thing that they did was eat. Aha, not play yet. We
Okay,
had some
okay.
grub. We had some laksa, if I'm not mistaken. Those were some pretty good laksa uh, from the airport. And then after that, we play tested some games. Mary was asking for tips on the mirror matchup, which actually mattered for me. Uh, lo and behold. So yeah, um, Barney right there, throwing all
Not
his
so
support
happy.
on. I mean, that's how that's his love language. If I were to say, like he would
Uh,
always look behind Mary's shoulders and say, like,
oh,
"Babe, you gotta do this right."
this
All right,
one. This
next
photo.
picture. Yeah, yeah, and there it is, the shining picture of Craig getting the invite early in the morning. Congratulations to him. So he got there, he got his first pod, and he won.
This
And
one.
there it is. That this was the night where we play tested the Convoke matchup. We play tested it through MTGO because we didn't have the cards for what do you call this, the deck. So we tested it. It was like 1 a.m. and then that's where we called it a night. Mary right there was writing her sideboard guide. I'm not sure if it's Pioneer or
Mm,
Legacy, but I think it's both because it was a very long
legacy
list,
pioneer.
and I'm like, what the hell? So yeah, very busy night for both teams, and
This one.
so this was the part where we were settling in at our Airbnb. Shout outs to Very Best Hostels. It was a very nice place. As per Mary's words, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it felt like riding in a train.
Very
So
best.
yeah, yes, which she wasn't
Snorlax,
wrong,
you
by the way.
snore.
She wasn't wrong, by the way. It felt like riding one, except there wasn't any movement. So
This one. This one.
yes, the crowning face of me getting the top eight.
Top
So
eight. Top eight. With 26 minutes left to spare, right?
So much
yeah, yeah,
happiness to one photo.
26 minutes left to spare because the first 10 minutes was me trying to like asking my opponent if my top eight was guaranteed. if I get the
Mm.
if I did the ID, the
Mm.
intentional draw, because that's how it works in Magic. When you have a very good record and then you get to the later stages of the match or the tournaments, you would be offered a intentional draw from your opponent who has the same score as you, or if not better, which has
This
the
in the chat.
intention of going into the top eight by guarantee. Carlo No Show. What up, Kevin? What up welcome to the stream, brother. Shout outs to Team Monkeys back in Manila.
Monkey.
Or as I call the honorary members of the Top Deck Discord channel. Shout outs to you
This
guys.
one.
Thank you so much for
Explain
supporting
this
us throughout
photo.
the years.
What's happening here?
Yes,
Speaking of
so I think this is after day, like not after day one, but rather after the what do you call this?
LCQs.
The the LCQ, because I remember I was
Mm.
wearing a uniform on the Friday. So we were playing Dual Commander because Judge Ben, shout out to Ben for heading the judge as a heading the event as the judge for the entire weekend. So, and it was a very smooth tournament. We were playing Dual Commander because he asked everyone to play Dual Commander. It was that simple. Arigato
Oh.
gozaimasu.
Arigato.
Bro, shout outs to you, my friend. Yes, this was a 14
Yeah.
pop Dual Commander event, and it was
What the hell, Kevin?
1v1 any format, pustahan ba yun?
No, go away.
Ano yung brand pro? Ano yung brand
And I
pro?
know for a fact you wear boxers, not briefs, Kevin. Go away.
Calvin Klein?
How do you know this?
No.
Alright. So you can go back to the picture, the previous picture.
Other
Because
picture. Okay.
I want to
Okay.
have a shout out to Rainier Lantaya, if I'm not mistaken. The guy on the left. We played in the Swiss. He played Mono Green, and it was a very close match, to be quite honest.
Mm,
As
mm,
far as the team being confident in the Mono Green matchup with our deck, Rainier was a very good player. Like he made it hard for
mm.
me, and I just happened to have the read
Pause.
the elements. So and then in the front of me, and then in the front of me is uh, Judge QJ. So shout out to QJ for
QJ
overseeing
Wong.
the event. Yeah, QJ Wong for overseeing the event. We had a lot of fun. That was his fourth time playing Dual Commander in a tournament setting. This was my second. So and he played Feldon. That was a nightmare for me. Rainier, can you Jesus Christ? Yeah, he kind of looks like Jesus. If you think see that, all right. So and then there's
All right.
Hams. See some
Oh, sorry.
recognizable
There's
faces.
Hams right
Monty,
here.
Hams, um,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you know the
Barney,
guy.
Monty, Benj, and I think this
Yes,
is
Hilkia.
Kelkia.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with the guy on Hams left, like right beside
This
him.
one?
Yeah,
Jaime.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Jaime.
Jaime,
Jaime
Jaime.
is
Okay, it's
Jaime.
like
Yeah.
it's like one of the high rollers in
Yep.
Magic.
There's
CEDH
also a
players there.
person that I recognize as well next to QJ, a very handsome gentleman over there in front of Rainier. Very familiar
Moist.
face. I've seen that
This
guy
one?
before.
Uh,
The guy
Who?
next
This
to
one?
yeah,
boy.
This one?
yeah, that
This
guy.
one? No, that's
Uh,
nobody.
all right. Next.
Next, this one. This one.
Uh,
I love this. This
this
is
is
so memeable.
this,
Jeez.
this this is like every time a guy goes up to a mono green matchup. It's such a nightmare to go up against that deck. If you're not playing mono white, I swear to God, like because it gets worse. Like as you go to the hierarchy of going up against the mono green matchup, like which deck you play. So from practice mid
I like
practice
Monty's. I
sacrifice.
like Monty's facial impression here. Look at Monty's facial. You sure about that? You sure about that?
It's, it's,
Yeah,
it's,
it's like
it's even harder. Like playing against mono green is hard. I tell you guys, but playing against like one mono green person and another mono green person just looking with that facial expression, I'm scooping. I'm like, let's move to game three.
Yeah.
because
Goodness.
like no matter what deck you play, even with mono white, like sometimes mono green just has the nuts. Like turn one off, turn two Kiora into another off, and then turn three like Cavalier into the Nyctos, and then you just combos off.
So
Like
Karn should be
it
banned.
happens. It happens all the time. Like and not all the time, but most of the time. And then this guy, if I'm not mistaken, is playing the Enigmatic Fires. Yeah, he's playing Enigmatic
No,
Fires.
this is Rona. That's a Rona combo.
No,
There's
that's Rona.
Rona.
Oh,
Rona
it's a
combo.
Rona. Okay.
It's Rona combo with a Karn in play, so that's why he's making that face.
That's Rona and Valky.
So
That's Valky.
I'm guessing what
yeah,
happened is
Valky.
I guess what happened is Hilkia played Karn into Pithing Needle.
Oh, yeah, that's the classic lockdown, the 1-2 jab,
1-2
left
punch. And
Yeah.
then this is the classic pose.
the classic boss. Yeah, because he did that to me as well back in Davao when we played for the invite.
That's
'Cause
one of the
we got-
reasons why I shied away from the deck, because it's open deck list.
Yeah,
So they would
yeah,
know
yeah.
that we're just playing. Yeah.
I see, I see.
Anyway, next one. You want to do next one?
Yeah.
Boom. How about this one?
Oh my god, the
I
ultimate
forgot who
proxy.
did this. I think it was Starry who did the edit. I don't know why Busoy is on the face. he
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
good though.
ultimate
He looks really
proxy.
good. Not
That
gonna
was
lie.
good, right? Looks good.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. This one.
He has seen better days. Yep, that's JP. He is playing the Rakdos mid-range. I believe that's Carlos' deck. He's
Yes.
borrowing.
Yep.
This was
Yeah,
the
but I think he
LCQ.
did well. I think
sure.
on the this is LCQ. Or is it? I just
I'm
wanted
not
to
sure.
shout out the merch and wanted to
Yeah,
tease
yeah,
it
yeah.
a little bit that we're going to be
Yeah.
releasing
He still has the
official
cap. I
merch.
lost the cap.
Oh man,
I'm
that's
sorry.
limited edition.
No. We like the new ones
This
though.
one.
All right, so this
I
one,
think this
I
is
believe,
LCQ
yeah,
photo.
LCQ, an LCQ photo. Uh-huh. I think this was
I think
after my first match.
Fish.
this one.
Yes,
Fish.
is a
It is
very
a
delicious
fish.
dish. I think it's a thumbs down for Barney though, because it's very spicy.
Spicy. Agree, agree.
Uh, yeah,
This
this was
is
us going
this
into
photo.
the venue. Uh, the venue was at the alumni house. I don't know where that is though. Like we just took a grab,
Go there.
and yep, and
They're full.
some more food. Shout outs to Tito E for accommodating us. And
About this.
this
Explain this
this is
photo.
why this is my favorite photo of the event, because everyone was just joking about, Jujutsu Kaisen, because I'm pretty sure everyone's a big fan of the series. So, and then we were just talking about how we were going to crush everyone in the competition with with domain expansion. So we'd always do the pose when we start the power play, and then the background
Domain
music starts kicking in. So that's the inside joke, guys. If you guys are wondering why I'm doing that, I'm not a weeb. I mean, I kind of am, but
Wait, what?
I'm not an open weeb.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about anime, but not all the time anymore. Like,
How
you
about
know,
this?
job's been keeping me busy. I think that's Denzel, if I'm not mistaken. There's Hams.
I believe
Yes.
that's
Denzel going up against Hilkiah. I think Hilkiah won this match. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
So it's tough
Alas.
seeing like our fellow teammates or slash
Matchup. Speaking of
neighbors.
teammates matching up with each
Yeah.
other, game one, shout out to Doc Pao and Busoy of 167 players. Their
Do we have
match
a
number
photo of
one.
that? Do we have a
No,
photo
I
of
no.
that?
Does
don't
he?
know.
I don't think so. I
It's
don't
fine.
think so.
I don't have it.
That
It was
fine.
very
The
it was
judges-
very unfortunate.
Yeah, and the judges was not so happy with it because we were loud.
They were
about
noisy.
It. Yeah.
They were
Oh,
so
did,
noisy.
did they do? Oh my god, they did the thing again. So
They did
what
the
happened?
shh.
I only learned this when they got home. They were
Yeah.
noisy AF.
Yeah, because they
Judges
did
were
that in
complaining.
Cebu. They did that in Cebu. They treated the whole thing like it was just a Friday Night Magic, and then
It was a fun night.
that's what happens when you pair up with your teammates. Like, just
Out of
Yeah.
167 people.
yeah.
Medyo low.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got a judge call from that. So.
Yeah, they
I'm surprised they didn't get a judge call from another player. Because
player. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
if it was a
Uh,
judge who just noticed, then that's fine. That's
If
normal.
I'm not
But if it was a
mistaken,
player, then that guy wasn't vibing at all going into round one.
yeah,
I would be
That guy
I would
wasn't
be
vibing.
livid. Like, imagine if I wasn't like the happy-go-lucky type of person. I would just be pissed going to round one, and then these guys are just so noisy. I'd be ready to send up. I was like, Judge, these guys are. What are they
There-
doing here? Trying to play
there
a
would
game.
be there would be a two-step or three-step warning
Oh
there.
my
The first
God.
one would be verbal. If they continue to do that, it will be getting worse.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
Oh,
first
I have a
time would
question
just
because
be
we have a judge here, TD Slicedbread.
Hello,
What are the
Yeah.
penalties for excessive celebration?
noise, excessive noise.
No, just celebration. Like for example,
Excessive
if
celebration.
if I'm a Lotus
Well,
player and I ask, do you have a mana available? No, I'm tapped out. No cards in hand. No, and then
Mhm.
I do the Sekuna pose for a minute.
For a whole minute. Oh my God.
For a minute, just holding that
If-
pose.
for a minute holding that pose, that might
Yeah.
be a slow play warning, I guess.
Slow play.
It
How
won't
about
be
if I-
unfortunate. If you're holding that pose for a minute, that would probably
What if-
be a
what if-
slow play warning.
What if you do
But,
this, Carlo?
It's part of the combo.
That's
What if you do
It's not a celebration.
if your
Okay,
opponent
next
doesn't call a judge, it's fine for a while. But after successive warnings and not changing
I mean-
anything, that's when it becomes a little bit into unsportsmanlike conduct. But for sure,
Yeah, like when he's
you guys would
taunting,
stop
like,
after the first.
He treats it like a.
You guys would
okay.
stop after the
Taunting.
first warning, I guess.
I
because
see.
I see.
that
What
is
if what if I take out my phone and play the what do you
Egyptian
call
music.
this?
Yeah, the Egyptian music.
The Egyptian music or the
Welcome to the stream,
Greek.
friend of the channel, Chris Kuwan. Ever with us damn memes.
I wanna cue the Ichigo music. What happens if I like this? I shout this word and
Bangkay.
ah tap out. Okay, one guy. If you wanna see some action,
I will probably just ask you to stop doing that and proceed with your turn. Oh my! I swear to cow, if you guys do anything crazy, if I'm actually working the floor, oh my gosh!
Craig, how about this? Explain this photo.
Yeah, my boy Craig got it to the top 8 in the
Okay.
Singapore Open. So
Singapore.
unfortunately,
Yes.
he fell short. I think because I saw him and Doc Paulo going into round 7, I believe they were still like they were very close to the top tables, like not far from where I was. Yeah, being at the top tables felt good. So, anyways,
Question:
but they fell
for
short,
these
and
ones,
then
right?
yeah. So
They
this,
they didn't play it, right? They're all when they did top 8.
yeah,
There technically is no hierarchy between them, so that's why they are doing this pose. Am I right?
yep. They
Okay.
split the cash prize and call it a night because everyone was tired.
And the invite,
And,
because they all got the invites,
yeah,
right?
they all got the invite. I think it's top 8 or top 32. Top 32, right?
I think top 32 got all the
Yeah.
invites.
Yeah, they just played it for the cash and then
Yeah.
just split it and call it quits. So congrats to Craig qualifying for the next regional championship. So I have another teammate in the bag because the goal is to bring these guys again. Yeah.
Shout out to
so
Julio as well. The
Yeah,
gentleman's.
friend
Yeah,
of the channel,
Julio.
Julio.
Julio and Bunny, and the guy on the left of Craig's right, rather, uh, he was playing mono white hammer, if I'm not mistaken, mono white or blue white, and
Mark
he was at he was at the main event stand trying to take a picture, and Bosoy and I noticed that he needed help. So shout out to you, my man. I forgot his name, or rather, I didn't check, but I didn't. I then I realized that they were calling top 8. He was one with them, so I'm like, holy crap.
Nice,
So,
nice.
How about this? How about this? Explain
Oh,
this.
this is nice. Explain yourself.
I couldn't play it. It's in
Can't play
video format.
so that's the
And
that's the
support this
video.
file profile.
That's the interview. A very quick interview where I explained myself. I got it to top 8.
Explain
and why
yourself.
they brought us in the what do you call this, the
Uy, show my
like storage room. It was a storage room. It was very
office. There's an office.
yeah. That's a
Office.
storage.
Office.
Just a small storage room. It's just a bunch of chairs, and then the guy like we were just called on one by one to do the thing, for their social media posting. So, hey, I'm on TV, mom.
Just a little update. Hilkia did win that match against Denzel. I asked
All right,
him.
all
Gotcha,
right. Thanks,
gotcha.
Carlo.
Very
So
cool.
that interview, I was actually very proud because I only had one take, while everyone else was.
Multiple takes.
A lot of takes, multiple
I
takes.
mean,
What are you holding there, Jers, in that
I
picture?
couldn't
What are
blame
you
them
holding?
because it kind of feels a bit embarrassing to do it the first time, but I got used to it looking at the camera thanks to Top
course.
Deck.
We
I know,
got
right?
this.
All right, and there's me
What are
getting
you
the win.
holding? What are you
That's
holding there, Jers?
those are
Control
tickets. You can
room.
actually win.
Tickets. Okay.
Those are tickets where if you join a Magic tournament, like an official Magic tournament from Wizards, they have ways where when you join, aside from the main event, you have side events. So when you join side events, you get to win tickets instead of boosters. So tickets, you can exchange them for prizes. You have the prize wall where you have a bunch of cool Magic stuff, not just cards or sleeves or boosters, but they also have things like the uncut sheet for a specific set. Like shout outs to Barney. He got the Midnight Hunt
Uncut
uncut
sheet.
sheet.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Oil.
like the full uncut sheet. So he had to take the whole roll and go home with it, carrying it.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes you can get specific cards that you normally can't get, like from a booster.
Mm.
Like
There were some secret layers, if I'm not
secret
mistaken.
layers. Yeah, they have secret layers. They have masterpiece cards, expedition cards as well. So it's very cool. Like you have a lot of choices. But most of the time, you'd want to go for the what do you call this? The uncut sheet
Box
because it just looks
Uh,
cool. It looks really cool. You want to
Mm.
post it back at
Especially when you
home.
get that framed goodness.
Yeah, if you got it framed.
We're gonna do it on the shop next time when we're going to.
Yeah, that's
But I
that's
want a
the next
different
goal.
uncut
We
sheet.
want
Yeah.
we want that uncut sheet.
We-
That's-
We're gonna
if
get
I'm not-
something from Pro Tour, hopefully.
if I'm not mistaken, uncut sheets would usually cost around 10 to 20,000 pesos.
Give or
That's
take,
about
yeah.
right. Yep,
That's
about
the usual range.
Oh,
And
how about this?
that's us celebrating the LCQ
Fish.
invite. So we got some food. This was the People's Park, if I'm not mistaken. This is like
Yep,
your favorite
People's
place to
Park.
eat. Yep. And there's another video that can't be played. And
What this one?
I realized that they weren't prepared. So like JP is like, okay, we're actually taking a picture. So we were actually getting our SIMs for our phones, so we can have internet anywhere.
Naday lins.
Yeah, there's links,
Chris,
and
then
it's 100 times
there's a lot.
better.
Yeah,
There's a-
times
there's a lot
better.
of lists.
They don't cook in the dark, Chrissy. They don't cook in the dark.
And they're in the
Yeah,
dark.
and they don't speak English. That's my only downside.
Lovely.
Hand
Lovely.
signal. They read
they
hand
come-
signals though.
Yeah, they read hand signals and numbers. Like they understand numbers. Huh?
This one I like this. I
Yeah,
posted this in
unfortunately
my-
can't play it.
Yeah, but this my
I think
combo
this is
turn
you-
TD Bappo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
TD
I-
Bappo was able to
I-
snap. Yeah.
I finished
Sorry.
the video. I finished my match, and then I went to Ericsson's table, and he was just going off, and I'm like, "Yep, he's going to win this game." So let me just take a video of him. The classic TD Ericsson, styling his opponent with
When he
with
combos
Lotus
off.
Field, with Lotus Field combo, and going into time because that's how he does it. Like he
Yep.
just makes you wait.
Yeah. It's like, so shout out to what do you call this? My opponent, and shout out to this guy. He's actually a Filipino.
Oh,
He's very cool. He's very cool, and he's just basically playing it out as well. So he traveled from Manila to Singapore. They've matched a couple of times, and this is the combo turn, as you said. There are like 3 other rounds that went to time because of me, and everybody's waiting for me to finish.
Yeah, if
I'm
I'm not
sorry.
mistaken, I think you had 2 draws at the end of the.
Oh no,
tournament.
I only had 1 draw.
Only
That
one.
was with Mono Black, which is very unfavorable matchup for me. So that was a good thing that happened.
Yeah,
But did make some mistakes for sure.
but 80%
Yep.
of your matches went into time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. But at that point, I think usually I already win. Sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the
Uh,
Ugin, the Spirit Dragon, the Pokemon thing. How about these?
yeah, yeah,
These
yeah. And
photos.
this is when they announced the top 8 for the Singapore Open, and I was super proud of Craig. I wanted to take a picture with him because for ever since he got back to Magic from COVID, like he struggled like learning the format, like modern format. So last year he tried playing the Philippine Open. He also went for the RCQ in neutral grounds, where I qualified last year, and he struggled. He struggled really hard, like to learn the format and the intricacies. Unlike where I just put my ass on the YouTube channels and just learned the format very vigorously during COVID. That's how I was able to, smooth my way into the invite. But seeing Craig getting the top 8, like it was so heartwarming for me. So congratulations to
Yeah.
him. Like
In
he got
addition,
he got to overcome his adversities.
How about this?
In-
This photo.
Oh my God!
Sorry,
shout
go
out,
on TD Black. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
I cut you off.
Yep. In addition with Craig's adversities and challenges, he had to build a deck from scratch. Like literally build one of the hardest decks to build from scratch with like less than a month to go. So, yeah, Team Top Deck were all on board, helping out, getting the Furies, the Griefs, the Bowmasters, the Thoughtseizes, and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It took a while, but we were like personally being one of the guys that really helped him finish the deck. It was really heartwarming to see that the efforts were all worth it. Like it was dealing on getting fables, dealing on getting them thought seizes and bowmasters. That was a challenge, but seeing him like really play and enjoy playing, most especially, that was all worth it. So yeah, just wanted to add that.
Very good, very good. This photo, TD Baps.
All right, so I wanna do a very big shout out to Jay Yo from his
Jayo!
hometown. Yeah, that's his name, Jay Yo.
Sean
But
Kingston,
yeah,
Jo.
from Singapore. So we got into the top eight. We were playing the mirror match. It was the most dreadful matchup that I would ever experience because in the Swiss, I remember him. I remember Jo like destroying me with his brutal Cathars on the main board. They had 4 copies, so he was well positioned to destroy like our list going in. So which had happened.
Brutal.
So I had to contemplate the night after I got the top eight, and then I saw that we were going to be paired for the next day. So I'm like,
Hmm.
this is so tough. Like I just keep looking at this deck list, like, how do I beat this? There's 4 brutal Cathars in the main board. Like that's rough. That's super rough because if you're doing attrition based strategy in the mirror match for mono white, like playing around brutal Qatar is super hard because he flips really fast. Like if you have nothing left in your hand, like it just turns into that wolf, and then your opponent can just chain 2 spells and then just get one of your creatures again. So it's
Hmm.
really rough. So, but
It's really
going
rough.
into it's rough. It's really rough. So going to the top eight, I told myself like, okay, I'm gonna do my thing, and then I'm gonna make sure that I will have the best possible hand that could alleviate the advantage that he has going into the matchup. So quarterfinals going in, I had a really good hand, 1-2-3 curve into Knight Errant of Eos. I was able to play 4 copies of Thalia's Lieutenant in that game, that first game, and I was so
Yummy.
yeah, it felt good, but I was looking at Jo's face and he was super unfazed. Like, okay, I think there's something wrong in this game because when I started attacking Alpha Strike, play creatures Alpha Strike, it just started blocking. I'm like, okay, so this is kind of bad for him. And then he just taps 1 mana, cast Brave the Elements. I'm like, okay. He ain't dead yet, but
Pain.
he's still behind. Pain. You know what's worse? Next turn, play Thalia's Lieutenant. Play Thalia. Attack for everyone. Blocks. Brave the elements. Like,
lose.
no way he has a second one. And to make things worse, after that, he survived the attack. He untaps. He goes to combat. He declares his attackers, and then he casts the third Brave the elements for lethal. I'm like, and then we just look at
Wow.
we literally looked at each other, and we were like, "What the hell is that game?"
Welcome to the mirror, sir.
And then
Need more
and
bullets, sir.
then even Judge Ben can attest to it because he was looking at our match while he was walking around, and then he was just shaking his head when he looked at me like,
Game 1. So game 1, you
Bro.
got wrecked.
I got
Super.
wrecked because, and it felt bad because I thought I was gonna win because I flooded the board so quickly, quicker, like way quicker than he ever did. Like even though he would draw like a brutal Cathar, like it wouldn't matter. Like I would just destroy him. But Three brave the elements. What a
Oh no.
strategy going in. And I had a misplay there because if had I not played the lieutenant, or rather the Thalia,
Mm,
and what do you call this? Hold up my Mutavault for a
mm,
blocker, I would have actually survived. That was the
mm.
when I reviewed my game going after that match, I was like, damn, that was the only misplay I did. Not playing around the third brave, because I was like, because there's no way he's gonna get the third brave, right?
The
Like
third place.
the odds are like far off, so you wouldn't think about it, but it came out. They all came out. And funny enough, a little spoiler alert, they also came out on game three. Except I got the win. So game two, I just did my thing. I just flooded the board and faster than him. Uh, Game three, I think his only mistake was that because he was on the play, he played a turn one officer and then turn two lieutenant, and then he offered a trade for my one drop. So I'm like, okay,
Mm.
because I think it was
I'm gonna take the
Kithion.
trade.
I think the
Okay.
reasoning was he didn't want my Kithian to flip. So I
Okay.
okay, I'm happy to give it away. So I just played Talio's Lieutenant, and then I heard from the boys at the back, or rather at the side, they were watching my game, and then Bozoy was like whispering, he'll kill, like, dude, he's got Adeline
So,
turn three, the
so
classic.
for to paint the photo, right? On the sideline, I believe Busoy was watching the match, who's taking all the notes and then updating the top deck team on what's happening. Beside him was Hilkia, and he said that the play where he knew that Gerson would win is on when Bappo played Italia's lieutenant with an empty board, and he started doing this to Hilkia,
Yeah,
and
and they
then
even they even got a warning from Judge Ben, like,
Judgment,
bro,
yeah, it's like
cool
calm,
off, calm.
calm your tits.
Eh.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
that's a proper warning.
yeah.
Yeah, just calm
Because
down,
they were,
calm down.
but I gotta blame them because they were getting hype, and
Yeah.
it was a, and during Jo's turn, he played Copper Coat Vanguard, and then he passed the turn,
Mm,
and then he attacked.
okay.
He attacked with Lieutenant, so he only had one blocker.
Take,
So
take,
yeah,
take,
so
right? You just
I
took
took
it.
the damage, I took it, and then I went to my turn, and then played Adeline
Mm,
attack, and then the Lieutenant got the three, and then with the free token, so he had to block my token. So, and that was like,
okay.
okay, I felt good about this because now he played two creatures, and then but my Adeline was just getting bigger and bigger. And then I saw he had
Mm.
one mana up, so he had another brave, so I had to play around
The
that.
elements.
So I
Okay,
played
okay,
more
okay.
creatures. Uh, oh no, there was also a window where he had brave up, but I played portable hole on his Copper Coat Vanguard. So it felt very bad for him. So he had to choose whether letting go of the Vanguard or
Casting the
like,
brave.
yeah, casting the Brave, which would have been so bad because I would just pass the turn. Like he couldn't do anything. And he was top decking at that point because he drew so badly. He was flooding. So
Flooding
and that's
and
where I smelled blood. I smelled blood because the turn after I attacked with Adeline. He started jump. He had to trade two creatures for my Adeline, which was very bad. It was very bad. So and to make
stonks
things
trade
worse,
stonks.
the turn after, because he didn't have anything, the turn after, I played my second Adeline from my hand, and that was when I was starting to feel really good about that match. And yeah, and then I think the last one I remembered casting Brave the Elements. It was so poetic going into getting that win. So and then he shook hands. He was very sportsman-like, Jo. Shout outs to him. I still can't forget how he destroyed me in the Swiss because he was my only loss going into that tournament. Aside from the top four, which was Christian after that. So yeah, there's the team. There's Craig. Well, I don't know why he's sleeping. There's Butsoy right, right beside JP, and they're both bald. They couldn't just like find another spot. There's Kia, and
This
there's
is it.
me.
This is it.
This was me
This
after my
photo.
match. It was shout out to Busoy for taking this photo. It was a very, very memorable moment because um, it was me after throwing game two with my match against Christian. Shout out to him. He was a very good player, and he picked a very, very fun deck, I would say, uh, because it was the deck that I was not very confident. Looking at
Deck list.
the
Yeah.
meta, yeah, the deck list. The
Mm.
deck list itself, like, I'm not a fan, but until I saw it play, and I'm like, why is this deck so consistent? Like both games. Imagine both games. It's a Yorion deck, first of all. Like
Yep.
80 cards. But he was very smart because he was playing the Hariruya sleeves. So it kind of made things easier for him to shuffle. So
Mm.
and then uh game one, he had a nut. So I'm like, okay, he kept a very good hand with Elvish Mystic into Sylvan Caryatid and then Luca into Atraxa. So he had the nuts. And but I answered it very quickly with ossification, and I had a window where I could have killed him the next turn, but he responded with Karn into Hey Whitemire and just bounced back with with 2 life. That 2 life mattered because I literally had lethal on board. Like
Oh no.
I just needed the turn to come back to me. So and then game two, he still had the nuts. He had Elvish Mystic into like Paradise Druid. I'm like, good lord.
Oh no.
This
Jesus
guy's
Christ.
good.
That's
This guy's
good.
really good.
You gotta
He knows how to-
practice your cutting skills, man.
yeah. I gotta do. And then I kept like a very risky hand. Like I had Castle Ardenvale, no planes. Just play turn one. But I had Talia's
Yeah.
Lieutenant and Adeline. I just couldn't draw the third white sword or second white sword, which was the plane. So it was so rough. And then I just played it out like a champ and then tapped out.
This is the lineup for your top 8.
Yeah.
I would assume. And
Yeah, so the first guy is Moonkit. He's the mono green player. He's very good.
fun fact is
and-
also LCQ.
yeah. He's also an LCQ.
LCQ. Yeah.
And then that's to his left is Christian. That's the guy that beat me in the semis. He played the Rona to light or Rona Luca combo.
Rona Luca. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the deck just because of how inconsistent it's supposed to be
Yeah.
on paper, but just how he performed throughout the whole tournament, I was just super inspired to try to build the deck because it actually looks fun. I just hate it. I guess I just hate how it feels similar to mono green because you just ramp into your combo. Like you have the basic gameplay of Rona combo, Retraction Helix, Mox Amber, and then you have the ramp combo into Atraxa, cheat in Atraxa. That's very disgusting. And then just draw
Guy
your,
in blue also
your
came
first
from
combo.
LCQ. Vaughn was saying.
Yeah.
guy in blue.
I'm very
Yeah.
familiar with that guy. I just don't know his name though. And then there's Jo in the third, and the guy who won the whole thing was right beside me. His name is Zui Shong. I forgot his name though. Let me check his name. Singapore. But shout outs to him. He did very good, and he beat Christian in the finals 2-1. So Jershwan. That's his name, Jershwan. So it kind of sounds like my name as well. So I'm like, I don't think this is a coincidence. Jershwan. That's his name.
This is the cut to top 8 from last time. So we have Rona Luca that you were saying a while ago with Christian. Monkit, who was playing also mono green. And Abzan, which is Jershwan. This is
Yeah, there
Jershwan.
it is. Yeah,
The mono
crazy, undefeated. He was super undefeated. So I'm
We have,
very
I'm not
amazed.
sure if there was Azurius control that were coming in. Am I right? 1, 2,
Yeah, Blue Eye
3,
Control.
4, 5,
It's
6,
Jarbs, Jan Darwin Sahagun.
Yep, Jarbs
My
right here.
fellow Pinoy top 8er. He's one of the
Alan
veterans.
Oka is also here. So
I'm
they're
not
all
sure-
Azurius control.
But no,
Is
I'm
this
not
the
sure
correct
if
one?
I think this is it's correct, but it's not the proper standings because Alan Oka was also 6-1, but he was 9th place because of the
I see.
breakers. Yeah, So
Okay,
shout outs to
okay,
Alan.
okay.
We also met. I was very humbled when he recognized me. He actually did when we saw in the tournament. It's like, oh, you're Bappo, and he showed me his phone, looking up my Twitter. It's like, yeah, it's me. So yeah, perfectly.
Nice,
You're a
nice,
celebrity
nice.
now.
Yeah, shout outs to Alan. No, because we played back at the previous RC in Singapore last year. He played what do I call this? The main zoo, and I was playing Merfolk. So, and he was very surprised by the deck that I brought because that turned to Merfolk Trickster into his what do you call this? That the domain creature that just died. He
That
definitely
really
remembered that
happened.
because he had to call a judge just to make sure. But I see that line so many times when I watch Nikachu play the deck. So yeah, it's kind of the matchup was kind of okay. Like it's not lopsided or anything. So shout outs to Alan, one of
Cool, cool,
the
cool.
very formidable players as well. So unfortunately, he didn't get the cut, which was I was afraid when I got into the eighth round, and then One was offering me the ID, but then everyone else was talking to me like, dude, your breakers suck for some reason, even though he lost in the fourth round. Your breakers suck.
Yeah.
There's a chance you're gonna play. And I'm like, no, I want to rest. I don't want to play anymore. 8 rounds is horrendous. That's 8 hours.
Yeah,
But then
more
some of
than eight
the
for sure.
some of the Pinoy players like sila Richmond Tan and si Julio, they were telling me like, dude, you're already fourth seed. You got the top eight. So just get the ID. And ID I did, and I got the top eight. So thank you for the support, guys. So
Nicely done, nicely done, nicely done.
domain expansion.
Domain expansion, FTW. Shout out to you, Monts.
Hey, Mon, thank you for
Hello,
joining
Monty.
tonight.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, sir. That was a very fun run
That was
and ride.
for the books. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Just to add to the amazing weekend, it was more of a weekend of camaraderie, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
with Manila, Visayas, and Mindanao coming together in their own shape and form, just saying hi, just hanging out, laughing their butts off, almost getting judge calls for being so noisy. That's what magic should be. Like, yes, all of us are um focused on getting the W's, but like there's always that moment just to just sit back, relax, and just have a good one with your friends. So that was one certainly for the books. Yeah.
Totally agree. TD Baps, I have a question. And as we close out the round, before we do that, I want to do a quick shout out first on our OP team, which is One
Oh
Piece.
yeah, yeah.
I believe they did a Manila excursion. What's the
Yes.
name of the tournament again? Guys,
the one
apologies. I am like
one it's the
a
One Piece card
novice.
game preliminaries.
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 Yeah, Asian
Yeah.
How does it feed
preliminaries.
to the worlds? Their worlds? Do they have a worlds tournament?
Yeah, I think
One
so. I
Piece.
think it should feed them an invite. That's why they had
Mm,
Japanese players in going into the tournament as well, which got into the finals, if I'm not mistaken. So
I see.
yeah,
I see. I see. We gotta hit that, guys. We need to have OP players as well doing good. This is a call to arms. Arise.
arise, arise. Yeah, so there it is,
So
the
yeah.
championship series prelims. So
Uh,
it should get you an invite to the championship
the
series.
Japs
If I'm not
won
mistaken.
both 1v1 and 3v1.
Yeah,
3v3. Come on, guys.
not surprising.
Come on, guys.
No, man. If I know
Yaps.
from your experience that you played with the Japanese players, so if there's anything, they can always destroy you in card games, especially if it's their
Yeah.
card games.
It's
One
their
win.
Mm,
card
I
game
see.
specifically.
It's
I
their
see.
card
I
game.
see. I see. I see.
Like I
Okay.
remember, I
Okay.
remember. Shout out to Lawrence Alos, one of our players here.
Mm.
Is also getting married. Congratulations.
Ooh,
Congratulations,
Because
Lawrence.
congrats.
Yep.
yeah, he popped the question in Japan with his
Japan.
fiance. Shout out to Julian.
Jill.
Oh,
Si
Yeah.
Jill, yeah.
And while they were in Japan, they visited a One Piece card game shop and a local game store. And going into a tournament, Lalo got his butt whooped by a child.
A child. A
Yeah, and
literal
yeah,
child.
and then to and then but here's the catch. His dad comes in like, hey, thanks for playing with my son. He's actually our local champion here. He wins every week. And Lawrence was
Champions
like,
know no age.
huh? He just gave him the face like, huh?
oh.
Like he was really young. He was really young. Like I don't know if I can find the picture. It was very like super.
Speaking of starting them young, there's also a couple of young MTG players here who plays really well. Shout out to them. His dad is from Davao, but I believe they're already through here in Singapore. Two of them. One of them actually qualified LCQ with Craig's, and then the other one was also playing Modern. They're really good. They finished almost top 8 as well. Shout out to them. They're really young as well. Yeah, we need those types of players. Of course, we do have our
Yeah.
young players here as well in CDO. Um, need focus, guys. Focus.
Focus lang.
Like this. Focus, guys. Focus.
Yeah. Being their kind, being me and Gerson being their kuyas in a sense. Also,
Hmm.
we can really see them grow. You can see them take their game to the next level. You can see them striving on getting parts for their deck. That guy Raja in the chat has not
Hmm.
stopped looking for Arc like Phoenix for the past 3 months. He's
Oh,
been
Arc Light.
trying, guys. Arc like
Hey,
Phoenix.
I told you to message me. I told you to message me last Monday.
Yeah, he's been trying because he wants to build his is that Phoenix deck. But yeah,
Alright,
we can see the
let's make it
we
happen.
can see the yeah. We'll make
For
it
sure,
happen,
for sure,
guys.
for
Don't
sure.
worry. What the thing that I really appreciate about this new generation is they're hungry. We
Mhm.
just have to we as top deck we will provide more opportunities for the younger generation to join the more tito of us in these kind of events. Like Davao was such a shining example of what we can achieve with those kind of things, and hopefully so next year. RCQ Cagayan de Oro.
Yes, let's do this.
Let's do this. Let's
RCQ
do this. Let's
Cagayan
do
de
this.
Oro.
I'm so excited. I want everyone
Wink,
to come.
wink.
Like
Yeah,
We
Manila,
do have
Cebu,
big
Zamboanga,
plans. Big
Davao.
plans
we
coming
have big
in.
plans. Yeah,
Please
I want
support
yeah, yeah.
your
Yep.
local game shop, LGS. If you're in
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
Philippines, come visit us, Top Tech Games. We have big plans for next year. We are very excited to roll them out. And TD Bappo, as you can see, he's really close right now to the screen because he wants that to say the things that we'll be rolling out. But we'll be holding our
Yeah,
tongue for now because there are things that we need to prepare. That being
that is right.
said, I wanted to do a quick plug in on our next event that is happening in Cebu. Um, TD Slicedbread, if you want to do a quick rundown on that one.
Yeah, yeah. Archon 2023. Archon has been a collection of hobbyists here in Cebu. This is the first time that we are working with them because this is their first time back from the pandemic. We have been working really hard behind the scenes to provide the TCG events for that day. So we are already having a lot of people coming in from Manila and from Cagayan de Oro as well for this event. All of the info is in our page. Just look it up or message any one of us. We can give you the link if you want to.
Wait, you
We
have a
need
15K MTG Pioneer?
yes,
15K guaranteed
yes,
prize pool?
yes,
Ah,
15K
interesting,
guaranteed for top
interesting.
8. Yes, and win a
And then
box
win a
modern on the
box.
next day.
What type
Yes,
of box are we winning here?
the rivals of Ixalan, or we can push
Ah,
it up to something more modern, more recent. We'll see.
modern
Um,
Modern Horizons.
oh, or one of those Lord of the Rings boxes. Yeah. A lot of people
Mm.
have also uh messaged me personally asking for like on-demand standard, on-demand draft, which we can give as well. We will also be having Fab on Sunday, Flesh and Blood on Sunday, and Vanguard on Saturday. And in partnership with Magos Cebu, Magos Games here in Cebu, we will also have their flagship on Saturday as well. So it will be a fun packed fun of TCG for those 2 days of Archon. That is on the 18th and 19th of November. So little over a week from now. So yeah, we've been getting our responses on our what you call this, our Google Forms. So everything is done through Google Forms, so we can track everything from your when you pay and when we get the list of the passes. So yeah, I believe TD Bapo will be gracing us with his presence for that weekend, right guys?
Yes.
Yes. There's a lady coming here gracing us with our presence. So yeah, everything is done through Google Forms. So please check out the link in our posts. So everything is there with all of the information that you need. Usual, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to message us. Yes,
Yes, sir.
gonna be fun. Yeah,
Right, that's very good. So this coming weekend, guys, we will be there. But just a heads up, Top Deck Games in Cagayan de Oro will still be open. The team
of
will
course.
also be there. So if you can't go to Cebu, that's fine. Just go to the shop and play at the usual.
The usual,
Master
the
those
best.
skills.
Mhm.
Master those skills, because we
Mm-hmm.
need champions
Mm-hmm.
to form our endless success. Okay, guys.
I did
Yeah.
not see that one coming.
Yeah, for those who for those who also haven't had the update, we've also announced that our LCI pre-release is going to be postponed to next Thursday because
Mm.
our deliveries are still underway. I might not make it in time for the weekend, so we're gonna move that to next week, Thursday. So that means I'm still able to play
Yeah.
for the week before I move. I go to Cebu and
Mhm.
do some vlogging. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what he's gonna do here. He's gonna vlog.
I'm gonna vlog.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Did I miss any points, guys?
Um,
Oops.
never mind. There I
Chris
am.
is asking if there's any Pokemon in Archon.
Yeah.
Is it-
Pokemon will not be making an appearance this year. We will try next year. It was hard for me to catch them. I could not catch them.
Catch them all.
Where's my Pokemon?
Okay.
I could not put them in my Pokeball. I can't put them in my Pokeball.
Announce Pokemon.
Walang Pokemon. I will try better next year, guys. I'll try better next year.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
I
think
think
that's
that's it for
Yeah,
today. Final words for this TD Talks episode 3, TD Bapo.
Yeah.
Domain expansion. Infinite mulligan. You
You
keep
have
saying
to,
that to your
you
opponent,
have-
you have a chance of winning.
Yeah, we have to let
How
him.
about you, TD Slicedbread?
Yeah, we have a lot of things in store for the remaining months of the year. Check it. Keep following us on all of our socials. Do follow to TD Papo and TD Erickson and TD Slicebread as well for all of our content. We will be pushing more content, guys.
Hmm.
Other than our weekly TD talks, we will be having more edited content, more.
Hmm.
Yeah. Please also watch out for the next episode of TD Judge Call coming out this
Yeah!
weekend.
Judge call.
Yeah,
We're also
very
going to be.
complicated set for Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Very complicated set, but yeah, I've
Hmm.
done the research.
Ah,
We will give that to you within this weekend. Yeah, that would be all. There is no magic without the gathering, guys. Always remember that. TD
yes.
Sliced Bread. Dropping the
Just a
ball.
few announcements from my side here at Top Tech Games. Again, LCI pre-release is going to be moved next week. We will also have our flagship battle for One Piece card game here at the end of the month. That's November 25, no, not mistaken. That's after Archon. So if you want to visit, please do take our promos, get some wins,
Take our
or we
promo.
or we or we will defend them with all our might.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Those
we'll
promos,
also have
man.
our LCI Store Championships and APAC League as well on December. So
December.
stay
Yeah.
tuned for announcements.
Yeah.
Right. Sounds good. That's it for me as well. As again, follow our social media. Share this to your parents, grandparents. Let them know that we exist. Yeah, I think that's it. And then here we are. We're gonna sign off for today. Time check right now is 6:34. Yeah. Stay safe, everyone. From us, Top Deck Games. I am TDE. I'm joined by TD Bappo
TD Bappo. Damn it, jerks.
and TD Slice Red.
Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for watching.
Signing off. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.